Hey everyone. Hey everyone, it's Matt Donaghue, Kenneth Hamilton, and Jason Duffaut with Mission Financial Planners. So 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That is how frequently someone becomes a victim of identity theft. Every 2 seconds. That translates into, if you're curious, that translates into 14 million people a year that become victims of identity theft and fraud. Your information, I'm not even going to say has likely been exposed. Your information has been exposed. If you want to, if you doubt that at all, look at your spam folder in your email, and you will see that you have probably signed up for stuff that you have no idea where it came from and would never in a million years actually sign up for. But just to give you some examples, I mean, a couple years ago, LinkedIn had a breach that hit 700 million. That's with an M. Facebook, 530 million. 3 billion Yahoo accounts were compromised. One of the credit reporting agencies got compromised a few years ago. Target got compromised a few years ago. So this happens. This happens. And whether you're aware of it or not, your information is out there. And the challenge really becomes, how do you protect yourself in the best way possible? So I wouldn't even really consider this a problem at this point. This is more of a reality of living in a digital age. Is your data, someone's going to get their hands on your data. The question is, have you taken the steps to protect yourself in the event that that person really does try to do something with your data? So we're going to break it down into 3 parts for you. Part 1 is, how good are you at cybersecurity? Part 2 is, here's some of the rules that you want to think about. And then part 3 is some ideas around taking action. Ken, do you want to take a little bit of time and talk about the team and why on earth are we not talking about something financial or insurance or market or tax or
You're stealing all my thunder, Matt.
Okay, I'll shut up.
So we're here to talk about cybersecurity. And when we build a financial plan at Mission Financial Planners, we cover 5 main areas: income, investment, insurance, tax, and estate planning. Believe it or not, this falls into the insurance category. It's all the risks that can happen in your life and how are some of the ways you can minimize, reduce, or offset some of those risks. Today is cybersecurity, one of the forefront areas where people are getting some of the most pain, where there really is insurance that currently exists. So that means you have to be proactive in being prepared. Again, I'm Kenneth Hamilton, partnered with Jason and Matt, here to talk to you about some of the ways that you can take control. Now, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us 888-339-0093 or email us at admin@mfplanners.com. Like, subscribe on YouTube, share, but also just reach out if you have any questions and you want to discuss this. We're here to help in everything above and beyond just finances and planning. So thank you for being here.
All right, so part 1, discover your cybersecurity score. Now, we are not going to read the whole slide here, but one of the things we like to do when we do this presentation with all 3 of us is each one of us picks something that resonates with us that we know about. And the reason I stress is we know about this, or the reason I'm stressing something we know about personally, Ken is by far the most tech savvy person on the team. I'm probably in the middle. Jason's probably on the other end, right? So Ken's looking at this list going, yeah, there's 7 or 8 things there that I get exactly what they mean. For me, and I'm probably a little more like most people, there's probably 3 to 5 things on that list that I know what they mean. And Jason, there might be 1 to 5 things, 2 things. Okay, fair enough. So Ken, do you want to pick 1 or 2 and take a few minutes to talk about?
Sure. So the one that stands out most to me is I have complete control over my credit files at Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And I've also I know how to increase or decrease the level of security on those. And then next one below it is I've also done that for my children, because it's not just you. that can have your identity stolen, it's your children. They could be compromised as well.
So talk to me a little. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more, right? But
Mhm.
talk to me a little more about that, Ken. What could someone do with a kid? Um, your kid's
So,
information, I guess I should say.
so I didn't know this, but credit scores really are only a thing in the last 30 some odd years, maybe just a smidge longer than that. But outside of your bank accounts and outside of your home, your credit score is probably one of the most important data points you own and have and maintain, because it's the higher your score is your access to future dollars. So one, it's important the dollars you have today, but access to future dollars and how much interest you're going to pay for your next home, for your next car, whatever it may be. Believe it or not, if you're applying for jobs, one of the things that they check for is your credit score. So your credit score is one of the most important numbers you have to hold near and dear to your heart, protect and maintain. And yeah, if your child's identity gets stolen, their future is at risk. Can it be cleaned? Sure. Can I do it? I
Oh,
do not know how to do
good
that.
luck. Yeah.
But it's a grueling process that by hopefully after our conversation today, you'll have some clear steps to make sure you're protected from having to go through that. But yeah,
Awesome. Jason, how about you?
I would say the big one that stands out for me is what my wife is in technology, as you guys know, so she beats me up with this stuff whenever I make a mistake. And the one thing that stands out to me is, Ken, I can spot the difference between dangerous free public Wi-Fi and useful secure free public Wi-Fi, which the rule of thumb is always use secure Wi-Fi. So so I've been put on a spot for that a lot. So I never use public Wi-Fi.
So Jason, how do you know? Like when you look at it, how do you know? What tips you off
So
for
I
that?
always look for the little lock symbol, see if it's locked or not, and if you have to put in a key code to get in from that end. So if you don't have to put in a key code, it's not locked, and anybody can. What my wife says, it's like looking in a window. Anybody can see your stuff.
Hmm.
So I don't want the window open.
I get you. I hear you. Okay. Um, I would say for me, probably the biggest one is kind of along the lines with Jason is my home Wi-Fi, the one right below that. Um, so the thing there with your home Wi-Fi is you need to change the name of the Wi-Fi network as soon as the installer leaves the house. You also need to update the password as soon as the installer leaves the house. Um, and it shouldn't be something that, I'll just use my last name. It shouldn't be Donahue's, right? Because now anybody who goes by your house that's looking for Wi-Fi is going to drive past your house and know for sure, oh, yeah, Google said this was his home address. The Wi-Fi is here, so we know the Wi-Fi is here. Yep, this is definitely the person we're going after, right? That is not to say at all that your installers are bad people. That isn't to say that they're going to scam you, but you don't know. They're the ones who set up the Wi-Fi network name. They're the ones who give you the initial password. You've got to update those. And you should be updating that password periodically, at least annually. And the other thing is, don't do something that's super obvious, like your date of birth. I mean, something like that, because think about what we said a few slides ago. Is your data out there? It is. Is it hard for someone to say, oh, yep, here's Matt's personal information. Oh, here's the Wi-Fi network. Boom, I got exactly who I'm looking for. Now I'm in. It's real easy for them to do that. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. Okay. Cybersecurity rules. I know Ken loves Venn diagrams. So Ken, can you talk a little bit about just, how these all fit together?
sure. I think the next slides cover that. But there's three cybersecurity mindsets about omniscience, secrecy, and mindfulness. It's not just do one thing. You need to now be aware of the world we live in. you have to have a little bit of protection, and you got to keep your head on a swivel. So yeah, why don't we jump into the first slide? So the cybersecurity rules. Key one, adopting a new level of secrecy can boost your security and cyber confidence. So what does that mean? One, this is honestly the hardest one to do, but my goodness, for my clients that do it, I know they're safe. So step one, you should create a secret email address for all of your financial accounts. So my personal email is my first name, last initial, and some important numbers to me. And that's been my account since I think I was in high school, right? That is my go-to username, everything else. But to Matt's point, I know my information is out there. Anybody can guess my username that's linked to my accounts. With that being said, you should create an email account that is gibberish. That is your first pet's name with your shoe size, with a number in between, and then your favorite color. Something that nobody would somehow directly connect to you. That should be your email address for your bank, for your credit card, for Equifax. And that's it. You do not sign up for email subscriptions. You never send an email to or from it. All of those need to be, with the last and most important, a extremely strong and unique password. So it is one of those Saturday, I was going to say Saturday mornings. Let's be honest. It's a Saturday event. But if you can do it from all of your bank accounts, all of your credit cards, get it all funneled to one place. Because like the Target hack, if Target.com got hacked, then guess what? They now have access to your email and everything else. Actually, Matt, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first moved to our new office, our Office Depot account got hacked, and there was a box of paper being shipped somewhere to upstate New York. And luckily we caught it, reset everything, got new Amex credit cards issued, all that stuff. But it can happen quick. And making sure that your email, which is your identity online, because when you need to reset your password, guess what? It goes back to that email. And if they have access to your email, they have access to everything. So putting that firewall between your online shopping, the firewall between all of your friendly correspondence and the newsletters you read versus your finances, which should only be finances, that will make your life much safer.
So great tip. The only thing I would layer in, Ken, because all of us do so much on our phones, is it might make sense to have a completely different email service provider. Like if you're an Apple guy and you're using their email, you might want to create this gibberish account on Google's platform or Yahoo or one of the other ones, right? It doesn't matter. But that may make it a little easier for you to manage. But to Ken's point, you never send an email from it. You are only using that to log in. I mean, that is it. That's great, Ken. Jason, do you want to talk? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
No, I actually have a really good one for beat the password paradox.
Oh, go ahead.
So, one, the best thing that people should be doing is creating what's called a passphrase, not a password. And this one has a mnemonic password. Say that 10 times quick. Where you Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and so it's a way to do that. But reality is with the computing power that is now available, this is a fair amount of characters. What makes a password truly hard to hack is the length. And so by using 4 random words, there's a webcomic that I read, and oh shucks, I wish I could pull it up for you. Maybe if you reach out to me via email, I'll share it. But just 4 random words. Look around where you're at right now, and it could be horse, shoe, Kleenex book. And that's what, over 18 characters? Just because of the length of it. And it's not complex. It's something that if you just remembered those patterns of 4 words, you now know your password. It really can't be hacked. The uses of numbers and symbols has always thought to make things more complex, but it's only fractionally. With that being said, if you struggle with keeping your passwords, using a password manager is highly encouraged. But again, you should separate that. That is probably one of the accounts that should be attached to your financial records, your financial email, but only you know that password manager login, and you got to protect it just like it's your safety deposit box.
That's a great point, Ken. You have to protect it. Jason, how much do you like two-step authentication or verification?
Oh man, I talked about this yesterday with a client. 'Cause we
Yeah.
were both struggling with two-step authentication and how many times you have to do it nowadays. I'm like, man, as much two-step as we're doing, there should be no hacks in the world because no one should be able to hack from that end. But yeah, it's necessary, right? Especially on all financial items. Every financial item I have has a two-step authentication process. So, and it's just the way it has to be because it's like you said, 14 million. Man, that's a
Yeah.
big number.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, and Ken, I'd love to hear what you think about this. For me, it's almost like if they don't have two-factor authentication, I'm kind of like, what's wrong with you? How come you don't have it? Right?
Mm.
Like to me, I do like that it's that extra layer of security because now they usually got to know what cell phone do you have it texted to, right? Or what is to Ken's point about using a secure email, what's the secure email that should be going to, right? Because if someone's got your info and they're seeing you're getting two-factor authentication from, I don't know, Amazon, now they know you have an Amazon account.
Mhm.
What do you think they're going to try to get into next? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trust me, it's painful. I'm not a fan, but it's necessary. Again, it's the equivalent of having the 2 keys on nuclear codes. You need both. And if you're not you, with the authenticator app that has only 60 seconds for you to access it, they can't brute force it in 60 seconds. If they don't have your cell phone, they can have your password. Because again, you should probably bet your password's out there online. But unless they have direct instant access to your phone as well, then again, they aren't able to do this. I go one step further. For all of my credit cards, I have text message alerts for every transaction on my credit cards, especially the credit cards I don't use. I want to know when there's a transaction happening. And granted, you can silence it so that way it's not buzzing at all hours with all your subscriptions going off throughout the day. Silence it within your phone, but at least at the end of the day, you can check in and be like, yep, all of those are my bills. And it's also just a good technique to know I really should cancel that subscription. I haven't been to the gym in 3 months. Or maybe this is the month. This is the month. Who knows?
that's great. Um, yeah, along those lines, so the notifications is great because, and I'll just give you a work example, kind of like what Ken talked about earlier. So, as a lot of you know, we do a lot of new client prospecting through dinner seminars and webinars where we have a meal delivered. Well, it had been about 4 or 5 months since we had done one where we had the meal delivered. And in that time, and we didn't know this, in that time, the vendor had updated the way they billed us for the meals. It used to be they would send us an individual bill for each person, right? So for each household. So a bunch of small transactions would come in. Well, they updated it so they could finally do a group invoice and send one big transaction over. And so we're doing a Social Security Planning for Women workshop, and my phone starts blowing up because the credit card company is alerting me that there's this big transaction coming through that they've never seen before. And we were able to approve it and all that. But those notifications, if that was something that I didn't know was going on, yeah. Am I going to call the credit card? You bet. Keep in mind, the credit card company will never call you. You get a phone call from someone saying they're claiming they're from a credit card company, say, Oh, thanks for letting me know. Hang up on them and then actually call the credit card company and see if there's an issue with your card and tell them about it. So, all right, cool. Thanks for the insight on that, Ken. All right, Jason, let's talk about Wi-Fi. And I know, you and Ken might riff on this for a little bit because Ken, I know you've got an example from someone we worked with a few years ago who got burned hard on this. But guys, take it away.
Yeah, I would, like I said, everything I know about Wi-Fi is from my wife. So she's queen of this stuff, technology stuff, and she says that public Wi-Fi is very dangerous, and the fact that you can get in there, think you're okay, yep, you're doing your thing, and everybody's seeing everything you're doing. So you want to go ahead and punch that password in, Matt? Let's get that thing, right? Give it
No,
here.
no,
I'll
no.
take it, right? All of that fun stuff. So now I know in the past we've used a VPN to try to protect some of that with our personal computers. So subscribing to one of the VPN services and using that to get some protections, even when on a public Wi-Fi, which is smart. But today, really, my primary use is the smartphone. Just go directly to my smartphone. It'll do the work. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so I'll tell this story very quickly. One of our clients was traveling. She went into her hotel getting ready for dinner. Just I forgot why, but she checked in, logged into her 401k account, um, walked away, scrubbed up, went to dinner, and by that next morning, her entire 401k had been liquidated. She didn't log into the hotel network. She logged into somebody's fake hotel public network and was able to see all the keystrokes. Matt, correct me. She was able to recover the assets.
She recovered a portion of them. Yeah, it was like 40%.
And even then, it was a months long process to get that. So again, have a protected email. Make sure you only access it using secure devices on secure Wi-Fi. Critical, critical.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is some of you may look on your smartphone and say, wait a second, it doesn't even show a hotspot option. Look at your data plan. Because if your data plan isn't at a certain threshold, and please don't ask me what data plan you should get because I don't know it all well enough, but talk to your cellular carrier and find out what data plan level do I need to get to be able to use my smartphone as a hotspot or your tablet or whatever it is. Because like Jason said, it is secure. You're the only person using that network. Can it be a little slow at times?
Yeah.
Sure, but who cares at that point? I mean, I've recorded weekly updates using my, on the road when I was in Milwaukee a couple weeks ago, right? I recorded the weekly update using my smartphone as a hotspot. That's okay. It just made things go a little slower for me. That's all. So, okay, keeping it moving. Home Wi-Fi network. I can talk a little bit about this. So when they're talking about encrypting your wireless router, what they're talking about is making sure think about what everything Ken said about in terms of passwords. You don't just have a password that anybody can guess. You've got a password that is difficult for someone to figure out. And like Ken said, longer is better. We already talked about changing your router name so that your router name, your user password is not just Donaghue and then Donaghue 12345 is the login, right? Or your street address or something like that. You need to make sure that what you're doing is something that people, A, they don't know for sure it's you, and B, they cannot um, piggyback onto it in any way, which is part of the reason why you disable the WPS. The other thing I would say too, whenever there's an update, as much as a pain as updates can be, do the update. And I don't care if you have a wireless router. I don't care if you have some kind of digital streaming device, Roku or whatever. I don't care if you have some kind of gaming console that needs to be updated on a regular basis, your PC, your laptop, whatever it is. When there is a software update, you do it as soon as you can. The reason why they push out the updates is they know there is a problem. If they know there's a problem, who else knows there's a problem? The bad guys do, right? So please, keep that home Wi-Fi network secure, because you don't know who's driving up and down the street trying to figure out, oh, can I get in here? Can I get in here? Can I get in here? They're not trying to come in your front door. They're trying to get into your network and then see what they can do. Think about what Ken said with our client who was on the road. If it's an easy thing to break into, they're going to break into it. Make yourself a hard target. Okay. KID number 2, omniscience, Ken. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
It's keeping your head on a swivel. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, like we
look at
said,
that.
I know we're hitting all the spots. So we're going to just be re-hitting the highlights. Get text messages for all of your credit cards, bank cards. It's simple. It's done. Yeah. Again, you should know when your money's moving. And it'll also kind of teach you of where your dollars are going. So step 1, turn that on.
All right.
Freeze your credit and protect your children. If you're most likely watching this on YouTube, if you haven't done it, go ahead, pause the video right now, log into Equifax, log into TransUnion and Experian, create your account, and then freeze them. 5, maybe 10 years ago, it used to cost dollars to freeze and unfreeze your account. Now it is free. Each one of the bureaus are a little quirky in their own way to find how to freeze it, but it's available. And the reason why this is super duper important, if somebody picks up your driver's license, they can walk into any Macy's, any Best Buy, or whatever it is, and basically open up a line of credit. Your line of credit is open by default. The only way it's closed is if you freeze it for yourself, but also your children. So freeze it. It prevents you from, as Christmas season's around the corner, opening up that new credit card for this extra 5% discount, but oh yeah, at 29% APR, right? And again, bad actors have that ability to do it. So just freeze it for yourself, your kids. Please, please, please. Most important thing you can do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think you can stress that too much, especially with, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No, me and my wife been using freezes for over a decade of freezing a credit card, and it's not difficult to do, and it's not hard to undo. So like even when you're ready to go buy your car, whatever you're doing, right? I mean, nowadays with the app technology, it's just as simple as going into the app and clearing the freeze. They do their thing to make sure you're qualified to buy that car. They're done, freeze it right back, all in the same day. So
Yeah.
it's
You can
pretty
even
clean and simple.
set a timer.
Yeah.
You can even set a timer of unfreeze it today and freeze it by this coming Monday. And then you don't have to worry about refreezing it. It's just, it'll happen automatically.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty simple.
So I have a client story for you guys, which I actually don't know if I've shared this with you guys. So we have a client who is a retired military officer. He, in retirement, he loves cars. He's a car guy. So he works for one of the big dealerships here in the San Antonio area. And what he does is he spends 15 or 20 hours a week driving cars from here to other dealerships and then bringing other cars back. And last time he was in, we were just updating some paperwork for him, but he told me a story about one dealership. Somebody came in with a fake ID that matched the social security number they were using and tried to buy a $100,000 car. For whatever reason, the finance guy thought it seemed fishy, and they ultimately did not approve the credit. 2 days later, this same person is at another dealership in another city in Texas trying to do the exact same thing. And so if you think your credit freeze is not worth, like Ken said, the 10 minutes, and like Jason said, the 2 minutes it takes to unfreeze it when you're going to do something, if you don't think that's worth it, it is worth every moment of your time to make sure you understand how to do it, and then take advantage of it later on. Because all they need is a fake ID and your social security number. And if the names match, guess what? They think it's you.
Yeah.
It's you. That's all it takes. So, okay, mindfulness. All right. We're not talking about become an expert here. Okay. We are not. And the cool thing is, and Jason kind of talked about this with technology, the cool thing is a lot of things are automated now where you will get alerts. You will get, hey, are you going to shut down your laptop? Well, guess what? Do you want to update and shut down or you just want to power off? Right. And then guess what happens the next time you turn it on? The update happens when you turn on. So you know that updates are available, right? I mean, you're ignoring them if you're not doing them, right? We touched on this already. Um, Make sure you're doing this. The other thing too is the antivirus software. It's worth it. It seems like something that if you've never experienced this, it's probably never going to happen to you. But as we all know, that of course doesn't mean that it won't. Ransomware. Um, who wants, and we're at 37 after. I know we're trying to keep it to 45 minutes today. And we're kind of getting in the home stretch, but who wants to take a swing at ransomware and just explain what ransomware is and how this rule of three can help protect you if you're victim to a ransomware attack? Anybody?
Give Jason a chance.
So it's funny because I was talking to two of our auto and homeowners partners yesterday about this as I kind of got ready for today's events and asking them, hey, they got these cybersecurity threats and ransomware is one of the big ones, which basically just means that if I get into Matt's computer, I can basically prohibit him from having access to it and take the information and tell Matt, you give me $10,000 if you want to get back in your computer and you want this information back. Right. And so I'm ransoming the information back to Matt so he can have his information and take control of his computer again. So once again, through the lovely education from my great wife, I learned about cloud backup. Always back your system up. Did you back your system up before you turn it off? Did you back it up an hour after you've been using it? Did you back it? Did you back it? Did you back it? Right? Keep it backed up in a cloud because if you hit the ransomware, well, you got to back up. You're not subject to me extorting Matt for $10,000 because he didn't have a backup and he's stuck with whatever I tell him, right? From that end. And physical backup devices, which seem to be less prominent, but there are the devices you can plug in that have the ability to physically back it up on a disk or whatever that may be that Ken would know more about.
Speak for yourself, Jason. Right here,
There
external
it
hard
is, right?
drive.
External hard drive. There it is. Right.
Now, I'm going to date myself a little bit. When I was in high school, I was a huge nerd. Let's be honest, just call it what it is. It used to
No.
cost over $125 for 100 GB hard drive that was not the size of a VCR, it was the size of a Betamax, so even bigger. And it required its own power source. That thing was heavy. And it cost $125 back then. This, I believe, is over a terabyte. It could fit literally in my coat pocket. And I think it cost me maybe $45. So like just what's happened in the last 20 years? Oh, that hurts. But yeah, there's for your most important documents, and you can set it up where you just plug it in, boom, it downloads, boom, you unplug it. Somebody could snatch it from you, and all your most important stuff is right there in your breast pocket. So
Hey, Ken, don't feel too bad. I remember being blown away when I was 12 or 13 by Lethal Weapon and seeing Danny Glover standing on a bridge holding the giant car-sized battery cell phone and thinking, whoa, that's the coolest thing ever, right? So don't feel bad, man. I mean, it was the best you could do at the time, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Is back the stuff up and
yeah.
actually take the time to back it up. Email phishing. Okay. So just I'll touch on this real quick. Guys, we've all seen these emails. And when I say guys, I don't just mean the three of us. I mean everybody who's watching this. We've all seen these emails where it's coming from somewhere and the subject line doesn't quite make sense. The sender is someone you've never heard of. The greeting is wrong. The grammar is wrong. The signature is unprofessional. And there's always an attachment. There's always an attachment. And guess what they're trying to get you to do? Open the email and click on the attachment because now the ransomware hits, right? Now the attack hits. And so start off, take a second. If you're going to open that email and you're not entirely sure who it's from, and a lot of them are like duplicates that they look like you're coming from your bank or something like that. If you see something, you're like, this doesn't make sense, call the bank, right? Call the person who you think is the sender, right? Don't click on the email because in most cases, if your alarm radar goes off, you're right. It doesn't make sense. And it's something that they're trying to get you to click on that to open the email, click on the attachment so they can ransomware you. That is what most of them are trying to do.
I'm going to triple down on this because in the last 2 years, I think we've been doing this presentation for 5 years at least, Matt, at least. So there's been one thing that this slide doesn't account for. AI.
Oh, yeah.
The grammar test is no longer a valid test just because it's well written. The two things I'm looking for is if there are any links that you're looking that you might want to click, hover over it and make sure you understand that URL of where it's supposed to go. If there's ever any kind of urgency of you must click this, you must sign up, send me a copy of your voided check or your driver's license. You need to have expected that first. If it is coming out of the blue, you have to stop what you're doing. Don't reply to that email. Call that person or send a separate email to the person that you think is asking for it, because we are in a whole new world of how people can fake their way into professionalism. And so some of these tests, the signature test, the greetings, grammar, yeah, be careful.
I would say too, Ken, the sender test is probably the most important. What I learned from my wife is you'll get an email and it'll be spoofed. It'll say Matt Donaghue at Mission Financial Planners. And she's like, if you weren't expecting that email, you need to scroll over that email address and see what the real email address is. Because in that might say some gibberish, KZ123 at I'm going to rob you blind.com. Right. So
my favorite email service.
On
That's
all
a
the
great website.
Yeah, right. So I roll over all of those to make sure that I know that email address. And if I don't know it, it's getting deleted.
Yeah, small business owners, I'd say, because we get these emails all the time as small business owners. You'll get those types of emails that'll look like they're coming from your employee, and it's saying, I need you to transfer my upcoming payroll to X account, right? Or whatever. It is what'd you call that website, Jason? I'm gonna steal.
One,
I'm
two,
going
three,
to rob you
blind.
blind.
Yeah, I'm gonna rob you blind.com. It's from them. It is totally from them. It is not from your employee. And again, if you're doubting it, ask your employee, did you send me this email? And I can almost promise you they will say no. Okay, so we talked about hovering. The next thing is take action. Okay, so we're not gonna, of course, have people fill this out. Sorry,
I solemnly swear.
Oh yeah, that's great. There is a book that takes you through a lot of this. If you'd like to get a copy, let us know. It is published by our partners at Horse's Mouth. It is not published by us. The one thing I will say regarding hack-proofing your life and how it fits into your financial plan, it goes back into something that Ken said earlier in the presentation, which is this needs to be part of your insurance plan. And when you think about Mission Financial Planners, and when you think about our book that we just wrote, which is the 5 Pillars of Financial Freedom, Ken has a copy right there. One of the 5 pillars is insurance. The other 4, income, investments, tax, and estate. All 5 of those have to be working together to make sure you've got the best possible plan. And if we're sitting down and the only things we're talking about are here's your life insurance, here's your disability, here's your health insurance, here's your long-term care, boom, boom, boom. Okay, you're good. Hey, you've got accounts spread out all over the place. How are you actually making sure those are secure? Do you have a credit freeze in place on you and your spouse? If you still have minor children at home or children that you are responsible for, right? Because remember, kids can be covered by your health insurance up to the age of 26. So there's, a whole host of potential issues there. Do you have those credit freezes in place? But if you do want to talk with us more about this and really learn more, but also find out how this really fits into your financial plan, please give us a call. Please reach out to us. You can see 888-339-0093, admin@mfplanners.com. Ken, final thoughts?
Pick one item. Pick one item, take a Saturday and get it done. It could be as simple as just updating your Wi-Fi password and now going to all of your different devices and your TVs around the house and getting them updated. That's one other thing I'd recommend. Log into your Wi-Fi and see what devices are logged in and sign out of all of them. And then re-sign in and with a new password. We kicked some people off of our Netflix because apparently we logged into one of our vacation spots. We logged into their TV and the sign out didn't take. Next thing I know, they were watching movies. So we got it to sign out. But take one item. Check your Wi-Fi. Freeze your credit. Turn on text messaging. One item. And make your life a little bit more safe. This outside of the dollars in your pocket and at the bank, again, your credit score, your virtual identity, it's too valuable. And if you think it's hard to handle now, do you think it's going to get easier?
Remember when it used to just be make sure you log out of your email when you walked away from a computer? You might
The good old days.
not. You might not. Jason and I did.
Yeah, when you could just leave your car keys there in the visor of your car and not have to worry about it. No, there are criminals around the world that have access to all of your money, and the only thing that's between them is your username, password, and access to your email. If they breach to your access of your financial email, it could be game over.
All right, Jason, final thoughts?
My final thoughts is understand what's in your property and casualty insurance. I mean, you have homeowners insurance. Does it have a cyber threat addendum in it or rider? Do you know? You probably don't. Most people don't, right? And understanding that is part of what we do at Mission Financial Planners to understand what's inside of our clients' policies, because we got to know where the gaps are. And if there's a gap there, do you want to know it after it happens or before it happens?
My guess would be before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for your time today. And everybody, thank you for taking the time to view this. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to Amazon, get a copy of our book, The 5 Pillars of Financial Freedom. Read it. I know not everybody's going to read it, but read it because it is chock full of actual real life examples that will resonate with you. And you'll see that we are comprehensive financial planners. We're not a one-trick pony. We're doing webinars on things like cybersecurity. So do the best you can with it, but also please make sure to reach out to us. Once again, 888-339-0093, or send us an email at admin@mfplanners.com. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching.